Greetings Marines, FiOth here, and today we will be breaking down the Tecker class for Dark Descent. Can someone explain to me why Tecker is spelled with a CK instead of a CH? No idea? Don't have one either. Anyway, this is our hacker class, and in this save, it's my friend Steven from the community. I'm making some of the viewers into Marines. Yes, I have another save where the Tecker is called Hudson. Don't worry, I'm a normal human being as well. So, how do we build upon this class and what are the strengths and weaknesses? Before you start asking me why I'm using these weapons, the weapons with a certain amount of exclusions like the smart gun or the sniper rifle are universal. This friend here can get a plasma rifle. He cannot get a sniper, but he can get an RPG, for example. So weapons notwithstanding, let's move to attributes. What does this class bring to the table that others don't? Hacker grants access to the hack interaction option. The Marine has the ability to unlock a cryptid door, costs 1 tool. This is the same thing as having smartass as a common. So, first rule of thumb, never invest in a smartass common if you're running a Tecker. Meaning the Tecker will not benefit from having smartass on. Second, sentry gun overcharge. Grants the sentry gun overcharge interaction option. Improves the damage of a sentry gun, costs 1 tool. Fortifies and empowers the sentry guns to be more effective and able to withstand more damage, costs 1 tool. Might come in handy if you're fighting an onslaught or you know you're in some deep shit during an objective. Hacker Expert. When a Tecker with Hacker Expert is deployed with a squad, unlocking encrypted doors and repairing synthetic no longer costs tools. This effect applies to every Marine that can perform this interaction, so a person with smartass will also be able to use hacking without wasting tools. It doesn't always have to be the Tecker himself. Let's go to commons. It is ultimately a utility class, okay? So starting early on with Looter is extremely good. Of course, Redemption is great because it will void any trait that handicaps the Marine. Having Team Spirit here is something you can afford alongside, let's say, your Sergeant or your Recon. And of course, don't forget about Mind of Steel and Unbreakable Will because it will help you tremendously when you're on the Doom Clock. Pretty much self-heals trauma and doesn't allow the Marine to be exhausted or tired. Apart from that, depends if you want a more efficient fighter or an overall more utilitarian or tanky approach. You can go for more HP, you can go for armor, and so on and so forth. Starting with upgrades, I always start with pouches. I've explained this a million times. This allows you to loot more stuff like medical supplies and tools from the field and then bring them back to base, building your economy up. You will also be able to carry more when you go into challenging scenarios, so having this on each and every one of your Marines is very important. Second, I go aiming sights, increases the Marine's maximum accuracy by 5 points. Now some people send me messages saying, what if I don't upgrade this and I wait for level 3 to get a TAC drone? Doesn't make a difference because ultimately you'll get the 3 upgrades that are tied to the Tecker and then you have 2 spare ones that should again be pouches and aiming sights. The other 2 we have is larger capacity in our magazines and carrying more ammo from the get-go. Not a game changer, whilst this can bring in a lot of leeway when it comes to tight scenarios. Now, tactical drone is a drone that can perform specific interactions. Most importantly, you can weld and unweld doors with it and you can send it away to make noise so it will attract attention. At level 1 is a pretty good little assistant. TAC drone welder, as I said, allows you to weld and unweld doors. I'm sorry if the way I stated it is a bit confusing. At first it can create distractions, at second it can weld and unweld, and then going into battle drone, this is where things are getting interesting. The drone has now an M39 submachine gun that you have to first research, okay? You have to research it, and then the drone can have it on the field and can fire at enemies. Reloading the M39 submachine gun costs 1 ammo clip. Warning, the Marine must have the drone upgrade to equip this gear. Okay, so It holds 48 in the clip. You can reload it by using an ammo clip that would otherwise be used for Marines or for demolition, and it is literally an extra gun in a firefight. It can be issued commands like be on patrol mode, fire only when fired upon, not firing until we are detected, and so on and so forth. It's not gonna screw you up if you have it, because it will not take any action unless the situation dictates otherwise. It's passive until it needs to be aggressive, and that will only happen if the Marines are firing themselves. At least this works, and it's not bugged because we're streaming in bugs right now. Not gonna be negative, but it's a sad truth. Makes a huge difference, especially before the mid-game where you get your 5th Marine. It's like having a 5th gun, and when you get your 5th Marine, it's like having a 6th gun. It's a lot of DPS and very, very important. In the end, when it comes to upgrades, I suggest your Tecker looks something like this. Now, usually I give the Tecker the mines. I like the fact that they're carrying the mines and they can go both to a location to unlock something and place a mine to trap that location, but they can really work with everything but the sniper rifle that is recon specific. This is one of the most important units. It will allow you to go into loot sectors that you can, well, loot to have more resources. It will allow you to create shortcuts, flanking, entry points, and so on and so forth. The Tecker is integral to building both your economy and strategizing. One of the 3 most important classes, and I will cover every single one and then make a tier list and explain why I think certain classes are more important than others. So train a Tecker as soon as possible, keep them in good health, and if you want to be 100% covered, get 2 Teckers, 1 active and 1 in your reserves pool, and when one of the 2 pulls too far away from the other in terms of levels, leave them in reserve for a bit, intensive train them, or just let them be, and bring the other one in so they can level. You don't want to be going into missions without a Tecker. The amount of resources you will lose and the lack of the ability to enter specific rooms is going to be sorely missed. After level 10, this means that you have free entrance and revival of synthetics for everyone in the squad. Huge! Don't sleep on this because it doesn't carry too much firepower, because as I said, when you reach Battle Drone, that Tecker becomes a force to be reckoned with. It becomes very highly recommended from yours truly. Hope you found this useful. Yesterday we did the Sergeant, today we're doing the Tecker. I will list both the Sarge vid and the playlist, including most of my vids for Dark Descent, at the end of this one. So sub, like, hit the notification bell, very, very important, and don't forget to drop by the streams. I'll call you out and we can have a productive discussion on strats and learn the game together. Until next time, be well, stay frosty, and always strive for perfection, Marines. Cheers!